This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Excited to have Breck Rubin here joining us, the CEO of DirectStay. There's so much to get to know about him, all his years of success. I want to know all about you and the family. And clearly, what you're doing with DirectStay is pretty impressive. Really, it's the freedom and wealth, as you say. It's a building platform for short-term rental hosts. And I'm excited to talk more about this concept, of course, and to find out more about you. So welcome to the show today. How are you?
Wow, Jill, thanks for the introduction. Super nice to meet you. Grateful to be here. I'm doing really well. So, looking forward to talking with you and getting to know you more as well and finding out more about how we're going to move this forward.
Beautiful. Well, before we find out more about the company and really what you're doing here, as far as, being an entrepreneur and helping people with their own businesses, I want to find out about you. So tell me
Great.
where you're from. Give me a little of that backstory. I think we need it.
Absolutely. So, I'm from the Windy City, Jill.
Ah,
Windy
really?
City in Chicago for 15 years. And then actually, my parents, typical, got tired of the Chicago snow, cold weather, said, we want to go to Florida. Moved down to Florida, sunny Florida, down in the Fort Myers area. Don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
Fort Myers, Sarasota, down south there. And that's where I grew up as a kid, went to high school and those type of things. And so that was exciting. But I found out real early that I didn't agree with the heat too well. So I had to move back
Mm-mm.
up on the East Coast, up where you guys are, and went back up to Michigan. And so that's where I spent a lot of time, went to college, went to Western Michigan University in Cal,
Wow.
and started to build a family from there.
Amazing. And how many children do you have?
I have two kids. I have Levi, who's 20, and Sarah, who's 13. Sarah just getting ready to start high school, so big transition for her. And then my son Levi is actually just starting his own business. He's starting a pressure washing business. So
Oh.
excited for him.
Congratulations. Oh my goodness. It's got to feel good. I know you've been married, what, for 23 years.
Yeah,
Congratulations
yeah.
on that.
Wonderful wife, Dawn. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Yeah, and
Don.
it's been great.
Oh, well,
Been great, great, great journey together.
all right. So tell me a little bit about your history. What inspired you really to become a career professional and how you got here?
Yeah, great question. So my mom was a lifelong educator, Jill, and basically what she instilled with me was the typical system of I want to make sure that you do good in high school and that you pick a really good college and that you prepare yourself for a lifelong career. And so that's what I was groomed for as a child. And I went to Western Michigan University, and it took me 7 years to graduate. I couldn't connect with it, didn't work for me. And what I realized was through that journey is that it was instilled in me because my mom was an educator to follow this system of 40 years of working for somebody else, putting in 40 hours. And really, what I found out, and it's true, is you get about 40% of what you're worth. So, really, you're working to build somebody else's dreams and not your own. And that is what inspired me later in life to become an entrepreneur and to do everything I could to break free and to get into my purpose and to really become an entrepreneur that would give me the freedom to operate in the purpose that I was here to do. And so that's a little bit of my background. It's a big deal for me because it was very painful. Not that there's anything wrong with employment or any of those things, but what I realized is what there was a lot of limit and restriction, Jill.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been working for people my whole life. I get it. I wish I had the entrepreneurial brain. I say that all the time, and you'll probably say, "Well, you can," but I just don't have it. I don't have. It's not in the family. But I totally understand. And by the way, college is not for everyone. I have so many friends who didn't even go to college, and they're more successful than you could ever dream. So it's not about that. But these are mindsets, right? And we're taught certain things when we're little that we're supposed to do this, supposed to do that, and then we grow up, and it's like wait, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. I'm an individual. I'm unique. Let me see what works best for me. And clearly you found your path, which is amazing.
100%, Jill. Yeah, you're spot on with that. And like I said, it's not for everyone, but for me, it definitely, college just wasn't for me, and working for other people wasn't for me. But for some people, it is, and I believe that they can find their purpose in that. So, like you said, you've done that for your life, but look at your career,
Yeah.
extremely successful.
Yeah, not as much anymore. I got two kids. It's hard. Your priorities change with life, right? It used to be all about
Right,
work, work, work. Now it's
right,
about being mom, mom, mom. And as a single mom who has been single since I my first kid of 10 years now, it's a lot of work. And
right.
I'm grateful and I'm thankful. I'm for every day for everything. But clearly, I'm sure you would agree. Your kids come first. Levi and Sarah, nothing else matters. Business is great, but if you have to choose, right? Family. So God
Right.
bless. It's great to have both. Not everybody does. And I'm blessed, and so are you to have both. So, can I ask you a little bit about some of the things that you overcame, some obstacles you faced and challenges?
Absolutely. So I think one of the biggest obstacles, and I'm gonna always go back to, because this is what my pain point was, is that what I realized is that everyone is here according to purpose and assignment. And I think that's so important for people to hear, is that you're here for a specific reason, a purpose. And I think it's important to find that purpose because your provision, and a lot of people, they just think that chasing provision is gonna bring that joy for them. But what I came to realize is that your provision is waiting for you when you step into your purpose. And so I had to step out of the restrictions and the employment and for working for somebody else and really chasing provision, because inside of me I knew that I had a purpose. There was something else that was calling me and driving me to something better. And that was the biggest obstacle, Jill, that I had to overcome, was to be able to understand first and foremost that I have a purpose. I have a specific reason why I'm here, to be able to discover that, to step into it. And once I stepped into it, all the provision, everything that I needed and more than that came to me because I was in the place where I was supposed to be, which is exactly like where you are. You're an excellent interviewer. Your provision was waiting for you when you stepped into it. Same thing for me. Same thing for, because I believe a lot of people, what you hear is people live for the weekends and they can't, hey, I love it's Friday. I can't wait, it's Friday. Well, Friday should be every day for you.
God
So
bless. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. The biggest thing was just overcoming that obstacle of not being in my purpose, Jill. That was the biggest thing. And discovering that and stepping into it was when everything changed for me. I really felt freed up, and I could be the person that I was made to be.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing all this. And also, let's move on now and talk a little bit about what you're doing, having a real business. So, I
Yeah.
know you're going to share some examples about all your work in healthcare industry as well. Could you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So in Florida, I was in healthcare for about 25 years,
Wow.
and I worked really closely, as close as you and I are conversation-wise on a daily basis, with family practice, internal medicine, cardiothoracic surgeons, you name the doctor, I spent time with them. So got to know them, got to know their practice, their patients, their work ethic, their business. And I came to find out something amazing to me talking to them, that they all told me that they didn't have the empowerment to be able to provide the kind of care for their patients that they went to school and college and took an oath to be able to do. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? Talking to the doctors. And they said, well, we don't run our business with the freedom and empowerment that we would like to. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? They said, well, I'll give you, for instance, that if a patient comes in and they have, let's just say, a really, really bad disease, you can say cancer, whatever it might be, and we believe that this is the best course of treatment, or this is what we think as a doctor or surgeon is best for them,
Yeah.
are not allowed to always make that decision, because they said, you know who dictates how we operate our business and operate us being doctors? And I said, no, I don't. I thought it was you. They said, no, it's the insurance companies.
Got it. Oh my gosh.
I was shocked, Jill, and that's important because I know there's a big health following with you
Yeah.
and global. And so it's important that And this was across the board in getting to know them intimately and having conversation. And so they were under restriction and regulation, and it was all dictated by what the insurance will pay or not pay on the kind of treatment you got. And I was shocked and scared for people. And the reason why I bring that up is because DirectStay, which is a short-term rental platform and wealth building platform for people, was established so that they could have a real business. And that equates into what I was talking about the doctors, because they didn't have a real business. They were under the rule and regulation and the dictation of an insurance company on how to be able to operate one of the most important things in someone's life, which is healthcare. And so what we did was we set up a platform. It's a wealth building platform to empower hosts and guests to have true ownership and to have a real business. And DirectStay was built for people that want to have a real business, Jill. They want to have freedom, empowerment, true ownership, and own everything about their short-term rental business that they've always wanted. It is really and truly going to be their business.
Wow. Wow. Well, I love this. Now, let me just ask, you spent 25 years in the healthcare business, right?
Right.
And at the same time, you, as an entrepreneur, how did you make the switch to this and do this? And I want to talk about the company too, but go ahead
Sure.
at your own pace. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So the switch was it. I consider this. It's interesting, Jill. I consider this a David and Goliath story because of if you go back to the story and think about it, David was up against this massive individual called Goliath, and that's how, I mean, if you think about what we're
Yeah.
doing, we're going up against these huge competitors that are extremely well funded and established, and they do a lot of business. Well, that's what the doctors were up against as well. They were up against these massive insurance companies and things like that. So they actually had to be able to fight for their patients to be able to get what they needed and those things. And so what I realized in the transition for me was that in order to be able to make a difference, I had to get out of the restrictions of working for somebody else to be able to have the freedom, empowerment to bring forth this message of freedom and real business and true ownership for
Wow.
entrepreneurs and business people. And that's really the key. Here's the honesty of it. Are we for everybody? I would say no, but we are for
Okay.
the people that want to have a real business. And also, what I found out that's really interesting, Jill, is that 80% of women in the United States make all the travel plans for themselves and their family. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I didn't know that. I do all the planning myself.
Right. So it's a big deal
Yeah.
too for us on the guest side too, Jill,
Yeah.
because guests to book a short-term rental anywhere in the country
Mm-hmm.
costs them a ton of money just on top of their vacation. And so what DirectStay has done is we have wiped out all those fees that are added onto them to just be able to have a short-term rental because the vacation enough is usually,
Mm-hmm.
that expensive.
Yep.
Why should you pay 20% more just to be able to stay at a place that you want to have a great memory, build a great memory, and have a great experience at?
God bless. You're so right. And I love traveling, right? Tell me, so where did you get this idea from and your passion for travel from and for this idea? Where did it even come from? Who inspired you in a sense?
Yeah, that's a great story. To be really honest with you, this came out of a ministry meeting. I came out of a ministry a meeting. It was a Sunday, and this was impressed upon me. It was a thought about it, and it just wouldn't leave me. And I tell people, they say, "Well, how did you get started with DirectStay?" And I said, "It found me. I didn't find it."
Yeah.
And it was something that I've been called to do. I would have never thought in a million years, being in healthcare, being a certified holistic health coach, and those type of things, that I would ever go completely 360 to overseeing a short-term rental platform company as the CEO and working with all kinds of amazing people and businesses and those type of things, and having a heart for entrepreneurs and hosts and guests and want them to have an amazing experience and vacation and those type of things. I would have never planned this myself. And that's what I mean about stepping into your purpose and your assignment, because a it's been an interesting but an amazing ride, and it's really stretched and grown me as an individual. And so I've always had that heart of entrepreneurship, but I never expected that it would be through this vehicle. And my wife and I have a couple of rentals. This is how it really started in 2017. I started with a property in Michigan and Florida that we had. And so we've gone through of 8 years of being under our competitors type of business. And so we saw so many things and talked to so many people and had so many experiences that were just screaming change for us, that DirectStay had to come forth for the true ownership and the people that are looking for a real business.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. My goodness. By the way, if you are just tuning in, I want to remind you we're with DirectStay now. Yes. And the owner and CEO, Breck. It's exciting that he's here. It's Breck Rubin, and he's really helping connecting hosts directly with guests. And clearly, this is, unique. Yeah. So, what else did you want to add? There's still so much more on the sheet. I just want to make sure we're covering everything.
Absolutely. I think the one of the biggest things that I wanted to share that's so important, Jill, is that there's a lot of people out there, whether you're a business owner or not, or working for somebody, but I think that we're made to want to be successful. And people say, well, what's the way of that? And I say this to you is that success is not a secret, it's a system. Success is not a secret, it's a system. What do I mean by that? Is that you need to follow systems of abundance and have
Mm-hmm.
systems of abundance set up in your life. And if you will follow those systems, which is what my mentor instilled in me with principles, which are to guide me, and the system is the leverage
Is.
we use for abundance. And
Yep.
so here's the thing, Jill, a lot of people think that maybe lack or poverty or struggle is just happening to them, but it's always a result, and a lot of times it's just not their fault. It's just ignorance, but it's according to the system they follow. And that is one of the big things, and that why I'm a proponent of being an entrepreneur, is because the system that I talked about, that my mom introduced me to as an educator, of going to college 40 years, 40 hours a week, 40% of the pay, it doesn't, by the numbers show it doesn't work, because it sets a limit on you. And truly, it's a system. And so a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, or they're depressed, or there's a lot of poverty or lack they find in their life, and they don't understand why. And so if I can help people understand that success is a system that you follow, and it's according to abundance, and that coordinates to and correlates with your mind, your body. If you think about it, everything's made up according to a system, Jill. We've got cardiovascular system in our body, respiratory system, all these systems that are operating specifically according to a way or a design, and that they are our leverage, or the way for us to live a healthy life. And so if we don't have these systems set
Mm-hmm.
up in place to follow, we get
It's
we get
true.
into we get into chaos,
Oh,
or
yeah.
to lack, or we get into sickness or poverty, and it's just according to the system. So DirectStay was set up, the whole platform, as a wealth building platform to empower real business owners with these systems to help you be abundantly successful.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
we are introducing residual income, Jill, to our platform for our hosts, that they will receive residual income on a monthly basis
Wow.
in regards to referring other hosts. And we're going to have things for the guests, and we have several multiple streams of revenue that the hosts will be given to be able to prosper their businesses. We've partnered with other companies that are providing lots and lots of revenue streams for them, just to do the things that they're in the short-term rental business to do, and do it with excellence.
Oh, my goodness. Amazing. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Yeah, I want to talk more about this. I know you also were taught the greatest service equals greater the reward, right? That was one of the things you put in. It
Yes.
sounds like that's what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a principle that my mentor he taught me. He says that, and I think it's important. And if you'll allow me, Jill, I want to share just a really quick. Do we have time for just a really quick story? I don't.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Awesome. So yes, he instilled in me the principle of greater service equals greater reward. What does that mean? Well, I want to, and you can share this example with a 5-year old. It's really pretty amazing. Is that if there's two men that are sitting at a table and you give them an apple, and this is the difference between wealth and poverty and how we can change it. And it's really simple. I think it's much more simple than we think. You give them each an apple. They each are at the table talking, eating an apple together. They both eat the apple. The wealthy man does something differently than the poor man. The poor man, when he gets done eating the apple, he takes the core and he throws it in the garbage. And then he gets up, shakes his friend's hand, who's a very wealthy man, and says, I'm going to go on with my day. The wealthy man stays at the table, waits till the poor man leaves, goes in the garbage and grabs the core, and he picks out the seeds.
Oh, I've never heard this. Wow.
He realizes that if he sows the seeds, that he's going to get a harvest. And here's the simplicity of wealth and poverty is that a lack or an impoverished person consumes all their seed.
Wow.
The wealthy man realizes in order for me to have an orchard or a harvest, it starts with one seed, but I have to sow it.
Ah,
So sowing and reaping, another,
wow.
that's a system of abundance. That's something, Jill, you can instill in your children. That's really important. And this is what I mean about the entrepreneurship and the employment difference is because from the employer, you get a limited amount of seeds. As
Mhm.
an entrepreneur, you have a limitless amount of seeds. But the important thing is to take your seeds and sow them in places of abundance that are going to bring back a harvest or a return on investment for you. If you don't sow your seeds, you will always live paycheck to paycheck or week to week and never know that you'll have abundance because simply you haven't sown a seed. The power is in the seed. The seed will change your life. Everybody loves fruit, but it's not
Wow.
fruit that will multiply and cause you to have great wealth. It's the seed.
Wow. That's beautiful. I never thought of it that way. Really?
And you can start this today, Jill. Any of your kids can. I try and instill this in my son. And what does that mean? That means that we have to be conscious of taking the seed and sowing it. The seed is supposed to be our leverage. And money is supposed to serve us. We're not supposed to serve money. It's supposed to be our servant. So I see seeds as my employees now. And I'm their CEO and I send out seeds and they're working for me. And their job is to bring me back an investment of abundance. But if I consume all my seed on myself, here's where the greater service equals greater reward. I can't have a harvest or an orchard. And so, what it means is that we have to get beyond ourselves and we have to think about I'm here, my purpose, my assignment is to bless you, is to bless hosts and guests all over the world with a great experience. And on the guest side, that they would pay much less and have a great experience. And on the host side, that they would make and have an abundance, build great relationships,
Wow.
have great connections, and do exceedingly well.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Again, we're here talking with our friend, the CEO of DirectStay, and Breck Rubin. Really inspiring, about having a real business and giving you that freedom and empowerment with your own ownership. And of course, the importance of discovering if stepping into it, as you say, and having the provision and joy in life that it's waiting in it. Okay, this is fascinating work. We still got 3 more minutes left in the show. What else did you want to make sure we cover for today?
Awesome. Well, what I wanted to say, and people don't know this, Jill, that this is exciting for me to be with you today, and it was intended to be this way. This is actually the launch of DirectStay. This is the launch of it. Today we go live, and so we are able to be with you. Thank you so much to actually do our launch via the global podcast network with our
Beautiful.
partners, subscribers, and people. And we get to launch on with you today. So DirectStay is launching. Is it okay just to give kind of our website is live? It's still under development, but I do have numbers and places where people can go to talk to live people and get more information or to connect with us. I'm happy to field emails as well and be able to connect with people. If it's okay, I'd love to share that information.
Absolutely. This has been a great conversation. I want to thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Now,
thank
tell us how we can reach you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So our website, which is it's still under development, but you'll see the aesthetic pleasingness of it and the quality we're bringing, directstaynow.com. Also, we have a webinar that is going to speak directly to host people that are looking to make a switch and have a real business. You can find that at directstaywith.me. We also have a number that somebody can call. It's number 307, phone number 307 207 3021, option 2, and somebody will answer live that you'll be able to just have a conversation with, get more information, talk with, and if you get a voicemail, we'll call you back and talk with you personally. So,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Oh
thank
my
you.
goodness. Thank you so much. Honored to be here for the launch. Wishing you the best of luck and success to so many. And I hope people really do check you out. And congrats on this and good luck. And hopefully we connect again soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jill. All the best to you and your family and your kids, and thanks for having me on. You're a top-notch professional and interviewer, and I'm just grateful to have spent time with
It was
you.
great meeting you and speaking with you today. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Okay. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.